Thank you, Baldwin. And now with me, I joined my two guests in the studio. I'll start with you, Mr. Clarence Seedorf. Let me to call him Mr. Clarence. Now, tell me, you've just come up with a short list of 23 players. Can you tell me what was it that guided your choice of those players? Did you know them before?
Well, we don't know the players, of course, personally yet, but it's very simple. You go for football and the understanding of the talent with the information we have. Let's say what we get, of course, looking at the matches, we did some analysis, and the focus was first to be looking at the main leagues in Europe and then the main teams in Europe. And from that build on also, of course, on guys that already were with the team. We need some time to get to know, and fortunately we have a little bit of time before next year Cannes. So we really based our thoughts on that, and of course there are some important players that are not here who are playing in China, for example, but nobody is excluded. This is just a process that we started, and we didn't reckon it was necessary for this match to make such a long journey, and we could, take advantage and look at some other players as well.
You say nobody is excluded, but you excluded the team captain and a very trusted left winger, Christian Basogok. What guided your choice of the others and not the two that I've just mentioned?
No, as I said, just it's not others or them. We decided up front, before even starting the list, that we would not call up the players playing in China. It's a very long trip. They are in a very important moment of their league as well. So we know those players and we know what they can bring. We wanted to see some other players before that, and but they will definitely be engaging with us in the future.
Now to you, particularly, 23 players. Would you say there was some prudence that guided you onto that choice, or is just that you had to come up with the 23 names that would take you on?
Well, of course we need to have 23 players, but if it was on me, I would take 45 players, because you have so much quality in the team. And what Clarence already said, this is the beginning, and we have to begin somewhere, and we want to see also the players who or never or a few went to the but we know that we left out. We don't travel for one game so far. We know the qualities, so nobody's excluded, as we said, and we need to start from a point that we think that it's necessary to build on, and that's the main key what we're handling.
Now, Clarence, tell me, the match against Comoros, is that going to be a mere formality to you, or it's going to be your very, very first challenge as coach, the two of you, for the national team of Cameroon?
Well, in our DNA, we don't really like losing. So our focus is to try to win the group, even if we are qualified already, because that would mean that we are doing things with the right mentality, and to prepare ourselves also for the tournament coming up, which is not going to be an easy one. Playing home is extra pressure. Playing home means that the others are more motivated to not make you have your success in your own territory. So the players will understand our mentality, will understand what we have lived as players, but also is just part of our DNA. You always give your best, you always try to win, and here we also talk about representing a country, our country here, Cameroon, is only focused to represent it at the best.
You have a clear-cut idea of the program of work that you have with the Indomitable Lions prior to the match, and that
because we are only for of course, but we need to know, working with the players, with the staff, came here all about getting into details, because I think organization comes first. When you have a good organization, we can also receive players, important clubs with the necessary staff and the necessary standard to allow them to come here and feel protected, feel safe, and that they can go back with the club and say, okay, I had a great experience and I'm fit, and I you know, have did my contribution for the team.
Patrick Kluvert, tell me, you coming to Cameroon for the very first time to manage for the very first time a national team? You've never had that experience at that level. What are you banking on to be able to feel that responsibility, as mighty as it is? And you know the country you're coming to, they call it Cameroon. We have this winning spirit.
As Clarence said, we are winning is in our DNA, and I had already experience as a national team coach. Clarence was a coach for many clubs, big clubs. So I think we have a good match. I know Clarence for a long time, so we know how the way to work, and it's different to be like a club coach and a national coach. So the things that we bring together is a mix of both, and we have a very clear vision on how we want to motivate these players and to achieve great things in this country. And we're not coming here for losing our time. We're coming here to do good
that you can bring into that squad that you know.
I think you need to always been done more talking about there is change coming up, and to understand, you need to understand what is needed. I think we have quite some package to bring on, but first, before you start touching things, you need to understand where you are, you need to understand what is really needed. We will take our time in that, in creating you know, the best team possible to present ourselves next year. We will spend time to go and meet the players, speak with the players, get to know them. We are very busy in, as I said, in the organization, which is very important towards each match, but also just in general. I think the federation has shown by picking us as coaches that that there's a different vision now. There's a new generation. Also, we're going to take 3 of the under-23 players with us, which is something that I want to emphasize, because sometimes you have talents of 20 years that are ready, and they need to know that if they are ready, they will be picked. So we're going to take them now just to have a part of this training camp, 3-4 days, so we can see them, we can measure them, we can understand the level of some of the local players, we can understand the level of the under-23 players, and we will do that on a regular basis, so they can also gain some experience to be with the A team, learn from the guys that have more experience, and also hopefully the others will open their eyes and say, okay, hey, I also can make it to the A team, so let me make the right choices for my career, because we're not going to pick young guys who go to you know, make the choice not for career but for money.
Okay. Now tell me, you are taking over a Cameroonian team that is the reigning champions of Africa, and they will be organizing the next competition in their own territory with the desire to win. How much guarantee do you give the Cameroonian people that that trophy will stay here?
Well, you know, so I don't think we should make the mistake to think that everything will be easy. You just named a very few important aspects. First, we play home, own country. That is a super pressure, so expectations will be super high. Secondly, you said we are you know, the leading champions, the guiding champions at the moment. But in football, in sport, well, we know everything about that. Yeah. What you did yesterday doesn't count anymore. For sure, it is a great motivation to defend, you know, as champions, this trophy. But we need to approach it as if it's not in our hands, and have the same fighting spirit, the same hunger to go for it. And that's why we have been speaking about this the last a couple of weeks already, how to implement a mentality, how to bring over a mentality that each match is going to be played to win. A winning mentality doesn't mean only that you win, because you have also opponents. I mean, you have Morocco, who has improved. You have
a lot of good
a lot of Egypt that has a great team as well. But we know that we have great players, and we're confident that we can be very, very competitive.
Before you came to Cameroon, did you have any particular affinities with any of the players of this great national team?
Not exactly, but I played in the past. I played with Jean de Macoun when I played in Lille, Sheju played with. So I have some history with Cameroon already, so that's a pre for me.
Okay. And you?
Yeah, well, you know for sure about Samuel that we played in Real Madrid, and we long time friendship after that. Jeremy was part of that as well for a year. And yeah, of course, Cameroon has always been one of the most important African teams participating in World Cups, and we remember Oman Biji, we remember Roger Mila.
Roger Mila.
We grew up watching the Indomitable Lions already acting, and that's what we want to see again.
Yeah.
I hope that you build on those big names to be able to deliver the goods for Cameroon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for coming up to join us on this edition, and we wish you the best with the Indomitable Lions.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Stay us with me now as I take you to the Muslim world. You know, the Muslims are celebrating tomorrow. Are you aware? Tomorrow is the Feast of the Tabaski, and preparations have been heating up around Cameroon, with all of the Muslim faithfuls putting spiritual and material places and material preparations intact.